Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you all again. Thank you for being part of this streaming, this presentation. We are going to talk about self-esteem from the evolutionary intelligence perspective and to debate with me about this so important matter. I'll be calling two nice colleagues, Claudia and Anna. Before I call her, I would like to reinforce that this streaming was organized by Rea Prudentia, and it is part of an important project that we call Consciousness in Evolution. This project aims to spread what we study, the study of consciousness, conscientiology all over the planet. So, welcome aboard with us. I would like to call Claudia and Anna Yogan to participate in this live. Hello, Claudia. Hello, Anna. Thank you
Hello,
for
everyone.
Hi, thanks for
thank you for being here. It's great. I will be presenting Anna Yogan and Claudia Adele. Anna Yogan is graduated in medicine and specialized in cardiology, intensive care, and psychotherapy. Later, she graduated in nursing and digestive endoscopy. Anna first met conscientiology in 2003. She currently lives in the United States. She's a volunteer at Rea Prudentia, and she's also a member of the Invisible College of Dysomatology. Claudia Adele Almeida holds a degree in chemical engineer, and she's an English teacher. She has been a researcher and volunteer in conscientiology since 2009. She has been an instructor since 2017. Currently, she volunteers at Rea Prudentia, and she's also a member of the Invisible College of Pentology. I am Fabiana Cerato. I am graduated in architecture, specialized in positive psychology, didactic and methodology, project planning and building. And I have been a self-knowledge researcher and a conscientiology and instructor since 1997. Currently, I am an entrepreneur, an interpreter, and a writer, and I live in Barcelona, Spain. And I am also the mother of two lovely ladies. So it's a pleasure to be here with you all. And let's talk about self-esteem and evolutionary intelligence. So let's start.
As Fabiana started, we here represent Rea Prudentia, and the Rea Prudentia is a conscious-centric institution specialized in parapedagogy and education, and it promotes activities focused on re-education, personal growth and development through self-research and instructors training. So if you want to become an instructor in conscientiology, Rea Prudentia has a course, and also courses aiming to develop the erudition. In the photo, we can see our headquarters in Foz do Iguaçu. If you want more information, you have the link and you enter to research more. And during all this presentation, you don't believe in anything, not even what you hear at the Aprendencia, what we are going to talk here. Experiment, have your own experience, see what makes sense for you. Okay, it's not because we are exposing our opinion that you have to take everything into account. Keep your critical thinking and see what makes sense for you. So, the objectives of this presentation is to conceptualize and understand self-esteem. Okay, we are deep on self-esteem, and we hope you go through this path with us and explore self-esteem from the evolutionary intelligence point of view. And I would like to compliment and question, any comment that you want to know, please participate in the chat.
We cannot hear you, Anna.
Yes, you are muted. Yeah.
Sorry
Now,
about
okay.
that. I have it down. So anyways, self-esteem has a lot of definitions that varies according to several authors that are very competent to talk about this subject. We are going to use one of them that relates to individual needs. I'd like you to take a chance and have a look at this pyramid that was that was proposed by a researcher in psychology called Maslow. He proposed the individual scale of needs because patients, they have different kinds of needs. And we can think about not only patient, but as all the people, because relating to the person when we were first born, we don't know exactly what to do. So somebody else takes care of us, and our mother or an important person is going to take care of all our physiological needs. What is that? It's food, it's water, it's eating, it's having sex, and so on. As we grow up, we are going to start to be able to take care of these needs by ourselves. So we are going to seek safety, shelter, and security by ourselves. And then the point is, as soon as we go through life and we start to face challenges and we start to overcome the difficulties, we are going to construct our self-esteem. So that's why self-esteem, it's after these other levels. For instance, it's also after the belonging and love needs, which means the ability of having intimate relationships and developing friendships, and also be part of a culture. All of it has to do with our abilities to go through life challenges and be worthy of happiness and be able to construct our lives by ourselves. So self-esteem has to do with some kind of a feeling of accomplishment. So you feel like you are competent. And why am I talking about this? Because some people, they want to go through self-actualization and self-fulfillment needs, which means that they want to reach their potential, but they forget to be able to deal with all these other levels before. So that's why I think this pyramid is very important to represent self-esteem, because one person is going to be able to really have a healthy self-esteem, as this person is going to be able to take care of his basic needs, which means the safety needs and the physiological needs, and also the psychological needs, which are very related to the social development. Okay? We can pass the next one.
Yes, here it is.
Yeah, so here we go. So in this next slide, we have, I think there is one before. Oh, yes, I got it. So these are two definitions of self-esteem. One is that self-esteem is this emotional attitude towards oneself. So it has to do with emotional control, with how we deal with our emotions. And this other one, it has to do with the degree of regard or respect that the individuals have for themselves, which means if a person is not able to deal with their basic needs, they are not going to develop respect and a regard from themselves. What does it mean? For instance, if I am a parent, I'm not a parent, I don't have kids. But if you guys have kids and you start to fulfill all the kids' basic needs and they don't have any abilities to develop their own capacity of take care of themselves and help at home and go and help you with house chores and so on, they are not going to be able to have self-esteem in the end, because they are not going to become autonomous or independent persons. And that's how it's important, because self-esteem has a lot to do with worth, how we feel worthy of being ourselves, abilities, and also judgments. So why do I have here this interesting picture of a cat that sees himself as a lion? Because if I am this little cat, but I am able to face life and to really overcome every challenge that is possible, I'm going to have a very healthy self-esteem. But in the other hand, if I am this little cat and I have my mama cat that is going to give me shelter, food, and that's going to choose everything that I need for life, this little cat is going to feel like absolutely nothing. The self-esteem is going to be in the bottom. So that's not healthy. Okay? Let's go
Can I
further.
complement?
Go
Can I
ahead,
complement
Fafa.
just a little bit, Anna? So just for people who had arrived right now, we are talking about the connection and we are explaining what is self-esteem. Anna just explained that it's necessary and it's totally connected with self-good concept. Now she's going to address that. It's important also to reinforce that we are presenting informations. We are going to present a paradigm that is under pillars. We are going to talk about conscienciological pillars because self-esteem is totally connected with the study of yourself. For you to develop self-esteem, as we are talking here, it's important to know deeply about your on reality, on preferences, your principles and values, as we are going to reinforce ahead. So just to complement that, Anna.
Okay, perfect. So I started to touch a little bit what is it. It is a self-concept because it's very intertwined with self-esteem. Self-esteem is part of our self-concept, which is how we think about ourselves. This is the cognitive part of ourself. And it has a lot to do also how we deal with our emotions. But it's also, let's put it in this way, intertwined or tangled with our culture, because culture is the blueprint for our survival. And we have learned beliefs, attitudes, and opinions according to the culture that we were born. And that culture, which means how we were raised, where we were born, and how our parents educated us, this is going to be a great part of ourselves. And we have a lot of concepts and opinions that we think that are ours, but they are actually values transmitted by our families and by the groups that we belong. And that's why self-concept is something that is important to get to know, because sometimes we are going to have a concept that is not completely ours. And that's why Claudia mentioned very well that we have to keep our critical sense. And that's how self-esteem is going to be something that you have to study about. You have to discover yourself. You have to discover your own opinions and see if your learned beliefs really represent the values that you hold to be true in your personal existence. We can go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And before Claudia start, 1 second, Claudia. She's going to talk about a low self-esteem. So we might not know what is self-esteem, but perhaps we might perceive that we need to work with self-esteem, analyzing the manifestations she is going to present. Okay, Claudia?
Yeah. Thank you, Fabiana. As if we don't perceive clearly that we have low self-esteem, we can observe our manifestation and study ourselves through this manifestation and have a diagnosis. Some manifestations that I brought here, there are many, okay? We have just some here to talk, but there are others. And a person may manifest some of them or may manifest all of them, okay? So while you are doing your self-evaluation, Anna?
We had a little bit of a connection problem, so I believe you should repeat part of what you said before.
Okay, sorry. In order to better diagnose, we need to observe our manifestation. And we may present some, one, or all of these uh, symptoms that I'm going to present. One is sensitivity to criticism. So if you feel that you are not comfortable with what people talk about you, about the critics, if this disturbs, bother you so much, it's good idea you try to understand why. Another, hostile behavior towards this relationship. Okay, if you argue most of the time with people, if you are aggressive. Another indicative is bullying, or even if you play friends off each other. It seems not to be that serious, but it may be a manifestation of low self-esteem. Social withdrawal. So you start to stop doing things that you like to do in order to avoid social meetings. You go to a point that you just start to avoid all events, all the contacts you could have socially. Difficulties initiating new activities. So this is also something that may happen. Difficult to overcome situations and contexts. We all face difficult situations in our lives. But if this becomes so difficult for you to overcome, it's good to analyze the reasons. Maybe you have a low self-esteem. Denial of past or current achievements. This is very important because when our self-esteem is low, we don't perceive what we conquer and we don't assume our value, really. If we achieve something good, we don't give that a value, we don't celebrate it, and we don't realize already what we are able to do. Okay, feelings of guilt, inadequacy, helpless. Okay, we feel that we are incompetent, unlovable, or insecure. We may have physical symptoms, headache, stress, depression, and we may also develop unhealthy habits like become addicted to tobacco, alcohol, or even more heavy drugs.
Claudia, it's interesting what you mentioned. There are very interesting items for us to debate, to reflect, and analyze. Especially about that, you mentioned denial of past and current achievements. Sometimes we struggle so much. We study, let's say, 5 years, we do an entire college, we receive a diploma, we receive a degree, and we don't give value. Sometimes we conquer something that took us many years of planning and organization, and we don't give value. So this is interesting to analyze because this is totally related with the way we perceive. As Anna presented us in the beginning, self-esteem is totally connected with the self-concept. And it's also interesting, this other item you bring, you talked about difficult of overcoming situations and context. See, it's interesting because since you don't trust on your capacity, and we all have great capacities, but since we don't trust on that capacity, we think we are not able to overcome, right, any situation that present in front of us. And then we
Sometimes
block
we even give up.
ourselves,
Before trying to do something, we say,
right?
"Oh, this is so
Yeah,
big for me. I'm not going
too
to try."
difficult. Mhm.
It's so difficult. I'm not going to try, and maybe we should try, and then we see. Okay. Thank you, Fabiana.
Yeah, this opportunity you mentioned also social withdrawal. No, it's sometimes we excuse ourselves and then we pop out from a group, a nice possibility in the group that might be also interesting for us, and then you have this toxic habits. I know everybody think, no, it's Friday, it's Saturday, let's drink a little bit. It's not like that. If you were healthy, if you were balanced, if you were okay, you don't need anything toxic. You don't need to intoxicate yourself to be part of a group. No, I remember I was studying I study architect, and 99% of my colleagues, they would go to have that Friday or Saturday night drinking alcohol. But it's not necessary. People associate sometimes, they do this bad association. But nevertheless, there are ways to develop that. No? So here is a question for us to reflect about it. How we can qualify? No? So let's say you perceive everything. Anna spoke, Claudia spoke, we've been bringing here. So what steps do we take towards a healthier self-esteem? Meaning, what steps do we take towards a better version of myself? Because of course, if I have a better version from myself, I will end having a better version from the group. So then we present a hypothesis for us, for you guys.
Yeah, we don't have ready answer to give you. So you have to do this or you have to do that. But on the other hand, we propose you a new paradigm to study yourself, to research yourself. This is the consensual paradigm. And why I am proposing this? Because the other paradigms we know, they are very limited. They are just focused on the intraphysicality and to broaden our studies, we may say this, to understand ourselves deeply. It's not enough just to analyze this intraphysical or just this part of ourselves. And in this consensual paradigm, we have another pillars, we have another possibilities to research ourselves. And what is this consensual paradigm? One of our hypotheses, and we study, and some people have disproved it, it's our vehicles of manifestation. So we don't manifest ourselves in the life only with this body. We have also an energetic body, and psychosoma, that is not our emotional body, and also a mental soma. That is that picture that I show here. And we have, if you want to go deeper, we have another presentation in our channel specific to address to this holosoma, as we say. And we have other pillars. We have 7 pillars. It is self-research, bioenergies, holosoma, multidimensionality, seriality, universalism, and cosmoethics. So if we start studying ourselves through this paradigm, we are going to see how can we make our research deeper instead only focusing on this intraphysical thing. It's important also, but it's not the only thing that matters when we talk about the consciousness. We are very complex, and we have here presented a new paradigm for you to understand you and the other dimensions too.
I would like to add something because, for instance, I graduated as a physician, and when I was a doctor, I had an impression of how care would supposedly should be done. How would I care for a patient, for instance? And then when I went to nursing, I was completely surprised because the notion of how to care of a patient was completely different. And some people would tell me, oh, it was so easy for you to start nursing because you already know so much from medicine. But it's really very different. And the allegory that I present people with is that it's just like driving a car here or in the US, where you drive from with the steering wheel on your left, and then you put your steering wheel in your right, and you are going to drive in England. I can assure you it's not easy at all. And this question about the paradigm, we bring it here because the scientific paradigm, which is the most modern and the most effective and with the evidences that we have, it's not enough to study ourselves. Actually, this paradigm has to be a lot expanded to really contemplate other realities, we contemplate other dimensions, to contemplate that we have more than one life. So that's why this transition of paradigm is something really important. And I presented concepts of self-esteem that are from psychology, but I went to other lines of knowledge to learn about myself as well. And when you put these other lines of knowledge into question, we come with other concepts. And instructor Fabiana is going to give us a very new concept that is going to make the whole difference in terms of how we understand self-esteem.
Thank you. Yes, exactly that. This is the proposal we bring here. We bring here the connection between yourself, between your self-esteem, between everything you are perceived through the evolutionary intelligent lens. So let's define first what is the evolutionary intelligence. The evolutionary intelligence is the ability to apprehend and to adapt to the human life based on the application of the consciential evolution, defining self-discernment of the consciousness, dynamizing the cosmoethical performance, and analyzing who you really are under those lens that instructor Claudia presented us and also Anna presented us. So you place that paradigm and you insert the self-research on yourself, meaning you can go to a psychotherapy, you can go to a psychiatry, but you use those pillars to research yourself, to take the best performance, the best version of yourself. And how do you do this? basically you amplify the lens, no? You perceive yourself beyond the intraphysical life, so you start perceiving yourselves by analyzing first the decisions, the manifestations, the interactions based on that paradigm, on the paradigm, on the model of perceiving your entire self, your whole ego, you perceived as a mini cog, as a mini piece. So with the self-research, you start to understand that we are much more than one simple person that doesn't make any difference in the world. Every one of us are a very important piece of the puzzle. So if we are a mini piece, if we are important, if it means that we all have principles, values, decisions, selections, existential programs to be discovered. We all have this capacity to renovate. And we bring here this concept of reseeing and resex, intraphysical and extraphysical, recycle. You can recycle yourself. You start analyzing yourself by checking your principles, checking how you are, the good things you have, the good qualities that we call it trafor or strong traits, no? The good qualities you have, the qualities you need to achieve, the things you need to qualify. And under that paradigm, you start to perceive better, more and more who you really are. See, that's why we need more than a physical paradigm. A physical is too little, although it's very important. No, I take my heads off to psychology, psychotherapy. It's really, really important. But we can go with that and beyond. We can analyze energy. We can deal with multi dimensions. We can take the best performance from the different dimensions. With that, we will finally understand and finally perceive the great qualities we all have. And important to emphasize, I see the ladies are arriving here to help with that, but it's important to emphasize that we are dealing with science. There is no connection with believing or not believing. It is totally connected with the principle that instructor Claudia presented to us at the beginning, which we call it disbelief principle, because it is the principle that you need to experience. Then, what is the meaning of that principle to conclude what we are talking in terms of evolutionary intelligence? This means that you ought to have your practice. You ought to look to yourself through your lens and expand this lens, have your own experience. For example, we are talking about other dimensions. Go out of your body. Every night we go out of our body, right? But perhaps we don't know that this is a projection, so we call it a dream. We don't know we can deal with energy, so then we call it, I feel some awkward vibration. I don't know exactly what's that. It's the different sorts of energy that you interact. This is all interconnected with the evolution. This is the evolutionary intelligence. So the way you behave towards and together with those pillars. This will end up promoting the number 6, your self-reconciliation, meaning you are going to reconcile with the best of the best part of yourself. And this is totally related with a healthy self-esteem, which is what we aim, what we want. That's why we brought self-esteem here. It's one of the most important pillars for all of us. So
Yes,
using and applying evolutionary intelligence will give you that possibility, right, girls?
yes. And while you were talking, when we say self-reconciliation, once you start applying these pillars and you start self-researching, we are realizing that there is no purpose on feeling guilty. We don't have to feel guilty about anything, and we are going to understand that we are maybe not perfect. We are not exactly what we wanted to be, but we have tools to get there, and feeling guilt is not going to help us in this way.
Yep. And also feeling lonely, feeling sad, feeling bad, feeling unhappy. This is all together pulling down our self-esteem and putting under the carpet. So we will end feeling very, very bad.
On the other hand, we understand why we feel this way. This is the interesting part. We understand why it happens. Not only, oh, I'm feeling this way and that's it. I'm going to drink a lot tonight to forget this.
Right? So let's work. Let's put the hands to work as opposed of intoxicating. Let's work. Let's reflect. Let's do something about it. That's great, fantastic. And then comes that item on how we can improve our self-esteem, which we already talked a lot. No, so this is the essence of what we've been talking here, no, which is the self-esteem from the evolutionary intelligence perspective. So Anna and Claudia, they brought us here the importance of this self-esteem under the Maslow pyramid, how it's important to have a physical ground, a solid, important physical ground to deal with your capacity of qualifying yourself. While you research yourself, you can research yourself based on the evolutionary intelligence perspective. It means you use those pillars, you apply energy comprehension, you apply going out of the body, you apply an ethical space, not unethical, one, it means one ethical position, ethical behaviors. You try to become more universalist, and you try to apply all the techniques that we bring. There are even many books written about that to take the best performance. And dealing with energy is also very important. And of course, we start with little things, no? As we brought here, we start with analyzing principle, values, what makes you happy. It's important. We become aware. This is one of the most important points. We become aware of our thoughts, energies, beliefs, and expectations. So who I am basically what I think about life and what I think about myself. So we challenge negative pattern. Say it again, Anna.
Just one thing that I would like to expand about expectations, because most of the times we kind of establish unrealistic expectations. And whenever that happens, and when I start to expect from others, and those others obviously don't have the same values and beliefs and principles that I have, I am going to be disappointed. So life is about modulating our expectations and studying ourselves more, because what we can expect is based on us. We cannot expect anything of the others. They have the option of doing whatever they want to do. It's their life. What I need to be worried about is what I'm doing with my own life. So set realistic expectations, set realistic goals, and then you are going to have a healthy self-esteem. Because otherwise you are going to always trying to uh, achieve more, and it's not going to take you anywhere. I've seen a lot of great minds, like scientists, that they have low self-esteem, and they actually develop that imposter syndrome, because they achieve so much, but they don't value what they achieve, and they have like unrealistic expectations, and that is something that compromises their life completely. You understand? So expectations are things that are really we really need to know how to deal with. Go ahead, Fabio.
Now, it's very important what you brought, because this is also connected with the item we are going to bring here, which is the boundaries. It is connected with establishing limits, establishing boundaries. No, don't mix your reality with somebody else's reality, because you just brought, the frustration. Sometimes we are in the big laboratory for that self-research is the conviviology. So we have the family, we have a partner, we have our companions, we are inside the marriage. And for that marriage to work, the self-esteem is one of the most important tools, because if you are with your self-esteem well balanced, you will be able to donate more, and you will end demanding less, because you can donate because you have what to donate, right? Anna and Claudia, they talked before about emotions. So when you study yourself, you also study how you react towards unexpected things, as you talked before. When we qualify our emotional reaction, notice I am talking about qualifying, not about blocking. No? So when we qualify, when we dosify our emotions, we can practice healthy boundaries, saying, my limit goes until here. Now it's his time, her time. So I should not place myself here because this belongs to somebody else. We have this capacity to establish healthier boundaries, and this will avoid what Claudia mentioned before when she talked about low self-esteem. No, she debated about this social withdrawal. We will be able to participate more and better in the society without compromising or feeling guilty, as you girls mentioned before, no feeling sad or lonely or guilty. We will end avoiding comparing ourselves with others, and we want to be kind to others and to ourselves. So here are nice pictures showing people happy, no? And this is what we aim. We aim to be happy. We aim a great self-esteem, but we also aim, right, ladies, to explore our own reality together. No, so it's not a shallow happiness; it's a deep in happiness. No? So this is what we would like. And there is also an interesting point before we conclude, which I think we might consider bringing it here. This goes together. So if you would like to talk a little bit.
Yeah, the self-critic. So this we think about why should we invest in self-esteem? Why should we self-research and think all about it? So we have here one. We propose here a sentence from the Valdo Vieira, and said, in order to evaluate the degree of universal affection dedicated to other consciousness, one must examine the nature and magnitude of the individual affection. So before we think, or while we think about helping others, interassistance and assistance, we first need to think about our individual affection. To think about this is very important. To balance our individual affection is very important if we really want to become a good assistant. If we want to do an assistance in high level. As instructor Fabiana said before, if you are prepared, you have more to give, you have more to donate. And then this is the interassistance. If you are better, you donate more.
Exactly. And there is an expression, while we three prepare, we prepare with lots of love this presentation today. And while we were studying, right, and preparing, we talked a lot about the, help me with expression here, cutness coefficients. How can I say that in English? Is that right?
Yes.
So it's like the cutness IQ, if we can say that, right? So it is exactly what Claudia mentioned, the individual affection. So when we develop, when we focus on self-esteem, on developing our self-esteem together, we are developing this wheel of embracing, first of all, ourselves and then the others. It's like you reproduce, you feel better with yourself, you want to reproduce that great sensation with others. So this is an interesting possibility, and it goes together with that question we would like to bring here to start going to conclude our presentation, which is what is the importance of investigating. We talked a lot about self-esteem, so to summarize as we present, what is the importance of investigating the self-esteem from the point of view of the intelligence, evolutionary intelligence?
Yeah.
I believe that at that point where we mention being kind to ourselves it's such a deep has such a deep significance, because most of the times people think about kindness as a superficial thing, but whenever you embark in this kind of journey where you are going to learn more about yourself, you are going to discover a lot of things that are not that good about yourself, and that are going to be painful to face and to perceive. But still, whenever you learn how to face suffering and how to deal with pain and how to come in contact with your emotions, you are going to develop more individual affection. And as you learn to be kinder to yourself, you are going to develop your self-esteem. And the self-esteem has a lot to do with the emotional body that we use to manifest, which is our psychosoma. So if you have a healthy psychosoma, you are going to be able to do so much. You are going to be able to project yourself out of your body, and you are going to be able to see other realities. You are going to be able to have a more self-conscious life when you are doing your daily activities. You are going to have a better relationships with your partner and your family and your co-workers. So it goes a lot beyond just that self-help kind of approach of self-esteem, because there are so many books of self-help everywhere. But in the end of the story, they kind of give you a recipe to happiness. And we know that it's not only that. There is something else. And we don't present you guys with any recipe here. We'd like you to go deep into yourselves and to find your values and to find your strong traits, and to deal with your pain, and know how to deal with others' pain as well, and have a lot to offer, because everybody has something to offer. I remember a lot about that movie, Field of Dreams, with Kevin Costner. And there is a phrase in that movie that touched me very deeply, which is that when he's there getting rid of his cornfield to build a baseball field, he hears that voice that says, if you build, they will come. So if we build ourselves, the tasks are going to appear. And do you know what your task is in this life? Do you know what your existential program is in this life? So let's try to find out and have our self-esteem really in a great level so that we can perform our task in a great way, with happiness.
Yeah, it's a good complementation and a good conclusion as well. No, so we try to place together self-esteem, the understanding of ourselves, together with the pillars and with the evolutionary intelligence. But as we presented, the pillars, they are techniques, they are possibilities, but at the end is all totally related with our reality, our will, our desires to be happy, and our desires to research more and more ourselves based on energy, knowing more about what we want, understand deeper our existential program that we call it Proaxis, which is similar to mission in life, but it's not the same because it involves the evolutionary intelligence. No, so we have all that possibility. It's just putting on practice, putting hands to work, and it's not a simple job, and it's not a quickly job. As Anna mentioned, it's not a recipe. No, if it was that simple, we would not be like 10, 20 years practicing here energy and researching ourselves every time more and more. And we do make mistakes. That's, as you ladies talk, we talked about this. We make mistakes. We will continue making mistakes because we are human beings. But we are, no, as Claudia mentioned, we are not there crying and feeling guilty and feeling bad and lonely and not and placing ourselves in that victimization situation because there is nothing else we could do. We will learn from that. No? So the more we investigate, the more we invest in ourselves, for sure, the better our self-esteem will develop, will pop out, until we can create a very solid base about that, about our emotions, our feelings, which is what we aim. No?
Exactly.
Okay, so we are arriving at the end. Perhaps it would be interesting just showing, giving some references in terms of books. You know, it's interesting to hear a few books as reference if you would like to study, read, and research. I mean, it's always great reading and having new books contact. Here is also a very interesting book. I don't know if you are aware. It was written, the last one, the third one, about Instructor Vieira, who is the founder of Conscienciology. He wrote a book called 700 Conscienciology Experiments, in which he brings his practice of self-researching himself into 700 different papers, one paper for each experience. We learn a lot from reading that as well, no? And also the other two books that are connected with what we debated here. And here is also the sites, if you want to click, you know, as people say, you know, click and subscribe or something like this. Sometimes I get confused. We have our YouTube, and Facebook, Instagram. Right? Yeah,
Thumbs
give
up.
it thumbs up, you know, right? And it was great. to be here with all of you. And thank you, Anna, and thank you, Claudia.
Thank you.
I hope we have more opportunities to be here together, debating this matter of self-esteem, self-research. It's totally connected with what we aim as consciousness in life. So I would like to reinforce that.
And we kind of took a lot of our research into this presentation, but the definitions weren't something that we invented. We kind of went to books and read and picked up important things from here and there. And it doesn't mean that we are completely experts in self-esteem, because we are not. It's something that we are, just like we have those signs in the railroads when you are like workers here, because we are still under work, So
it's still under construction, right?
Yeah,
it's still under construction.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
So keep that point of view that we are all learning. We are all here learning every day. And if you see this presentation afterwards, we are going to be really happy if you send questions, because this is going to help us to learn even more.
Yes, to improve.
Thanks for having me here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
With us until now. Okay. Hope see you again here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.